Do you guys remember when I talked to you guys about the giants, the Nephilim, and how these beings wouldn't have existed? That the fallen angels weren't cast out of heaven and none of the sin would have happened. Now, here's the thing. Since that did happen, and they tried to manipulate God's DNA, his creation, they were almost successful in destroying God's creation. So, what they did, because you got to remember, before the flood, everybody was living hundreds of years, okay? And these beings had all kinds of time to manipulate things that are going on. Now, what you see here is a frozen in time horse, but it's not a regular horse. It has what looks like kind of like a duck would have. It was like I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Just know that these paws here are made for them to swim better. Now these hooves are a mixed breed between a horse and I think a fish or something like that. I was reading it somewhere. But as you look in their faces, absolute terror, whatever they see. Now you'll see here how they'll say, "Oh, it's a sculpture." It's not. It was a living creature, not exactly a creation of God, a genetically modified, well, we'll say a G-mode animal. It was two animals in one. Because you look at the horse, and you think to yourself, how can the hoof be like that? There's no way. So it was genetically modified. Now I want to show you guys another thing. This is a serpent child. Cain's lineage. The green crap you see is not mildew or stuff over time from rain. This was actually its skin. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if nowadays where people get skin condition is if it's caused by this, but I know back then that Cain, after he killed Abel, was cast away. And Cain was sleeping with these beings, which produced these strange-looking offspring. This was a real person, but was genetically modified. We'll call it a GMO. You see here, I'll brighten it up for you. We're going to go straight in, right to the teeth. Nobody is going to be able to perfect the way this is. This was a real person, not too sure what it was closing its eyes to or praying to. Couldn't have been good, you know. But it has scales and everything. Like, well, you can get even closer. You can see the teeth right there. It was a real person. Now, the reason I go on about this stuff is either covered up or put in places where you think, oh, it's just a statue. No. Nobody can chisel something out like this. And apparently, from what I'm understanding now, is the clothes that they wear are not clothes like you and I wear. It's their skin. They would use their skin to clothe themselves. And apparently, they would shed every few years and it would hurt. So it's kind of like a punishment. You know what I mean? You know, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm just discovering this stuff now, and you know, I thought I'd throw it out there. And you know, you got to remember that they were sinning against birds and everything, just literally everything. Not necessarily in a sexual way. It could have been sexual and or modifying. These beings had really a messed up lineage here. because they were not a creation of God. So the spirits that were in these things never went to heaven. They stayed. They stayed behind. That is why I go on about demonic possession or whatever else. You remember the one time I was telling you guys about the children in the movies where they're ghosts or whatever, demons, and you could see them at the top of the stairs and they would take off into a door and you would go up there and look and there's nothing there. These things were real beings at one point and died and frozen in time. And the reason why God left them like this is to prove to you that something strange happened. And we are uncovering this stuff bit by bit by bit. Now, if you go to Pinterest and you Google, or not Google, if you search in the engine, you'll find all sorts of, just look up Nephilim or petrified people. Now, these people that were petrified were part of the flood. But I can see why God left them the way he did, in positions and in certain places around the world, to show you that, yes, there was a global flood. Now, everybody goes on and on and on about a global flood. The people are saying, oh, the earth is round, the earth is flat. Christians are saying the earth is round. Can I ask you a question? If the earth is round, what does that mean? I'd like to hear from you guys. I try my damnedest to get my stuff out there, guys. I have a really hard time understanding some of this stuff, but I thought this was really interesting. Hope you found it interesting. We'll be coming up with more stuff, and it's going to be about the 5G radiation dangers of the cell phone towers that are coming out, and radiation from your cell phones and other devices soon to come. So comment, like, and or subscribe.